Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's Mike here at Gamefromscratch, and today we're going to be looking at Blender, specifically 4.3 beta. Now every time a new beta comes out, I like to check it out, let you guys know if there's some features to be excited about, and damn, there's a lot to be excited about with Blender 4.3, and it's not even really a shining huge new feature, it's just Blender 4.3 does such usability improvements. It's going to be a before 4.3 and after 4.3 kind of split. You're going to not want to go back because of how much better the usability has gotten. So this is Blender 4.3, we're going to see and contrast it against this guy, which is Blender 4.2. Now, you're going to notice with Blender 4.2, I have the darker theme applied just to kind of visually stand them out. And I'm going to start off with just hands down the coolest feature. So I'm not going to bait you. I'm not going to make you wait till the end of the video to see why I am so damned impressed with this release. We're going to show you right away. So again, let's head on over Blender 4.2. Blender has a super powerful windowing system. So right now, you can go, oops. It's also a little clunky at times, as you just saw right there. You can grab corners, tear them off, and you can make windows just about any layout you want, okay? So it's a very cool system. There's a lot that you can do with this. It's also a little bit clunky. You need to line things up. It's gotten better over time, but with Blender 4.3, wow, did this take a giant and massive leap forward. So what is happening with Blender 4.3? Well, let's do the same thing. I'm going to split a window out. Look at that. So now you get this preview of how your split's going to go. So it gives you a better idea of what's going to happen. Now, at first glance, you think, okay, fine, that's okay, whatever. Well, look, this one, or this one, or that one, or this one, or this one. So you split a window, you want to put it wherever the hell you want, boom, drag, and off you go. Now, you want to see something even cooler that you can now do? Let's take this window. I guess I got to leave full screen on this one. So let's get out of full screen right here. So let's snap this guy to the left, like so. Now let's do the same thing over here, but drag it outside. Boom. Undocked windows. This is just massive. The features and functionalities that they've done in this release, just like the little things that they've changed on just configuring the workspace, it's going to be so much more pleasant to work with. Just that little preview bar was nice alone, but the rest of the stuff that you could do here, wow. It's going to, again, really make workloads different. Another thing that they've done here, this is just mostly a changing of a single click thing, but what I can do now is on a split, and I can say which way I want to go and join. So if I want to merge windows left or right, I can do that by clicking on the split. But again, some of the functionality they just added there for configuring Blender itself, it's so much more intuitive, but it's also so much more powerful and capable of what it's all about. Next thing we're going to show you back here. Let's sacrifice a default cube because, hey, we must. Let's go to the side view here. And the other big thing that we've got in this particular release is Grease Pencil. Now, Grease Pencil 3.0, brand new version. So let's go ahead. We'll add a Grease Pencil in here. So here is our Grease Pencil in place. You're going to notice the second I switch over to draw, the next aspect of usability here. And we have these shelves now. So you see here, all of our brushes are available down here. So you can see all of the various different things that are available. And you can just basically go ahead and draw accordingly. So let's go here. Let's pick marker brush, and we'll go blend. Guess you can't draw with the mouse. All right. So you have this new shelf system for brushes, which is even cooler. I'll show you it with sculpting in just a minute because they also got the same improvements. You can also filter down. You can go between various different libraries. Changes the way libraries worked as well. But here you got the new Blender system here, new brush system in place. And then the other new thing that they've done here is the erase system. So what I can do now, I'm going to go through here. Let me just go ahead and erase some of these shapes right here. So I've just done an erase on our particular object, and let's go ahead on over here into edit mode, and you will see what it's done. So it's actually, like, as you can see right here, so it's not deleting the geometry like it used to anymore. It's actually deleting the visibility here. So you can still have control. So I can actually grab these shapes that are, let's grab some right there. And you'll see it interacts with how the edges work. So completely new way of deleting. So let's go back over here. This is the old version of Blender. So Blender 4.2, delete a default cube. A lot of default cube massacring here. Again, let's add a Grease Pencil in. So where are you? Grease Pencil, blank, over here. So you're going to notice the drawing tools. No sculpting tray like we have now. And then at the same time, so your drawing tools are all over here. Your brushes, your setup is still this system. So we're going to go with the same guy. And then, is that, yeah, that's marker chisel. Okay, let's just increase our radius up a bit. Okay, I don't know why the brushes work so much different between the two versions, but there you go. All right, so here is our same shape. Now I'm going to take the eraser through, and we'll go through the middle of the object here, and then I'll go into edit mode, and you're going to see exactly what happens. So that is actually straight out deleting the underlying geometry, whereas now it's not. Completely new way, so you still have your existing strokes in place. So a lot of improvements and changes through what happened with Grease Pencil in general. A lot of improvements to it with the Grease Pencil 3.0, and there is another aspect to it that is really powerful. So let's go here. So we got our Grease Pencil here. I'm going over to modifiers, adding a modifier. Look at that, geometry nodes. You can now have geometry nodes for your particular objects. So that is pretty cool. Let's come over here, geometry node editor. And here you see geometry node creation. So geometry nodes now apply to Grease Pencil objects. So what we could do is say here, let's do, let's say, I really suck at geometry nodes. So primitives, mesh circle. All right, so let's add a circle into the world like so. And then we'll do merge, join. Okay, we'll join the geometry together. We'll take this pen over here. We will drop this into here. And there is our circle. And it's part of our geometry nodes object. So terrible, terrible demo of what the capabilities are. But you get an idea. You can now use geometry nodes and Grease Pencil together. So all of the functionality that we've come to love from geometry nodes, for those that are smart enough to understand how to work with them, that can all now be applied to Grease Pencil. So definitely some huge love for Grease Pencil in this particular release. And it doesn't end there. We also have improvements to sculpting. So let's move over here. Let's grab this guy, subdivide. All right, there we go. So we got a little object to sculpt with. Hey, I didn't sacrifice this guy at least. So there is our object. Let's switch over to sculpting mode, and you're going to notice again the brush system. Completely new system here. In fact, this is all working off of the internal library system. So let's go down here, head on over here to the asset browser. You're going to see all of your brushes are all together in the library. So you've got your Grease Pencil brushes down here. You've got your sculpting brushes all available here. They are all shared in a global library. And so they're all part of the Essentials collection. So hair stuff, sculpting stuff, Grease Pencil stuff, all shared as a common brush library. And you're going to notice, again, you have this really cool tray. So if we head back over to here, let's just do a quick new general, don't save. So this is 4.2. Let's go over to sculpt mode. And you get an idea of the UI difference. So there's how all the brushes were represented before. Now they are all in this tray down here. We also have a number of new brushes available. And you're going to notice with these trays, you actually can pick particularly which one. So if you only wanted the painting brushes, you can do a paint tab. It will only show you your paint stuff. Here is everything. So again, we could do it general, add and subtract brushes, and we'll get only the add and subtracts over there. You also have the ability to change the size of the preview down here, and where it's probably the coolest is this new feature down here is your search functionality. What you can actually do is search for things such as the new brushes there. So we'll go here, let's go to, let's say there's a couple of new ones, things like Grab 2D, but we'll do Crease Sharp, which is of course one of the many new brushes, and we will show that in action right there. So that is the new Crease Sharp functionality as it is organized into this new system. Again, this setup, this new tray here, the filtering, the brush libraries, it's just a great usability tweak. It's just some really nice changes in the way you're going to work with this guy. And I think the result is, again, it's going to be one of those releases where between that and then the new windowing functionality, the ability to undock windows to other screens, it's just going to change the way you work with Blender. So I'm really impressed with this new functionality, with that new functionality. Again, this is one of those releases where I'm not going to want to go back to an older version after I get used to it. Now, the next thing, I'm going to show you just that it's there, not because it's anything really special yet. We go here to Preferences, we go here to System, we go here to Display Graphics, and what you're going to notice is Back End. Now, you have a new option, Vulkan. It's experimental. It's also not a good idea to use it right now, but just so you know, Vulkan is now an option in place of OpenGL. Vulkan is sort of the API successor to OpenGL. You're going to see better drivers for Vulkan going forward. Theoretically, they can also get more performance out of Vulkan, but there's a lot more work on the coder side of things. Right now, I do believe that Vulkan is inferior to OpenGL in most cases, but if you want to go ahead and test it out, or if you're having issues with OpenGL in general, just be aware it does require a restart, and OpenXR and GPU subdivision are not currently supported, and expect reduced performance. So right now, you probably don't want to use Vulkan, but I know a lot of people have been waiting for it, and with 4.3, it is there as an experimental back end. Another new thing that we've got going on here, this is a very quick and short one to talk about. As we go over here into materials, what you're going to notice, there's a brand new material here called Metallic BSDF. And what you're going to notice here is it has two options, F82 tint and physical conductor. F82 tint is sort of a simple, fast way of making metallic-y surfaces. So you can see immediately it looks more metallic as it stands. If you want to go ahead and make things colored, you can do so. And then if you want, you can do edge tinting in a different color and the results accordingly. And you've got various different controls over it like so. So if you're making metal shaders, very quick shorthand way of doing things. And then there's this one, which requires people to be much more intelligent than I am, but also has more fine-tuned control over how your metal shaders work. To do this stuff in the past used to require jumping through some hoops. Now that is gone. Now another thing I'm going to show, I'm just going to show you this one quickly. And just in text form, because you saw how I was with the grease pencil, I suck with geometry nodes, but geometry nodes got a ton of love in this release as well. And the big one here is, this is for like my programmer lizard brain. The lack of a for each loop kind of screwed me up in terms of programmability. Now it's there. So what I actually can do is loop through a bunch of elements so anything between this block and this block will loop over all of them. If you're a programmer, the lack of a for loop was probably throwing you off before. Now it's available there. So each element in this grid, for example, will be evaluated inside of this block, and you can do these things over and over and over again. It's going to make things, it's going to open up a ton of things that weren't possible before, but it's also going to make things make a lot more sense for the programmer-minded out there. We also have grease pencil improvements as well. We saw it now it supports grease pencil, which is a big deal. We got packed bakes, so bakes created with baked node or simulation nodes can be packed into a .blend file. Then we've also got the ability, this one's probably huge for people that are doing tooling with grease pencil. It's now possible to add gizmos to node groups. It allows for editing the inputs to a node tree directly in the 3D viewport without having to go into the node editor or even the modifier stack. There's a couple different options. There's a linear gizmo, a dial gizmo, and a transform gizmo. And they're, bang, exposed via geometry nodes as well. We got warning options in there as well, then a bunch of new utility nodes and so on. So definitely some big improvements when it comes to geometry nodes as well. And geometry nodes, with every new release, the kind of bridging closer and closer to the kind of amazing stuff that Houdini can do, just in a slightly more usable manner. I still suck with geometry nodes. I'm going to have to sit down and figure this out one of these days, but today isn't that day. So if you're interested in grabbing these things, head on over to blender.org, go to download, and you can go ahead, you'll find it available right here. So check our next release, try Blender 4.3. That is the version we are using right now. In terms of when this will be out, I think it's about 2 months from now. And like I said, once you've done it, once you've used 4.3 and this new usability functionality like this, I don't think you're ever going to go back. This functionality is just beautiful, in my opinion. So let me know what you think of this particular release. Is it as hyped as I'm making it, or is it just sort of meh to you? Again, I love this usability stuff. There are some areas where I find Blender a little frustrating to work with, and every release like this, and again, when we got here, these new trays and unified asset library things, they're just game changers. They just make it so much more accessible, in my humble opinion. But I'm curious, what is it in yours? Blender 4.3 beta, what do you think? Let me know. Favorite new feature? Talk to you all later. Goodbye.